Hello everyone, welcome. I'm Katie and this is a Fountain Pen Awakening. I hope that wherever you are in the world you're doing super well. I'm fantastic. I'm standing out on my veranda today and it's a warm sunny day. Finally it's heating up. We've had a lot of kind of wind and weird weather of late here in sunny Queensland, supposedly sunny Queensland. So today I thought I would do a currently inked in October vid because I've been flushing out a lot of my pens and clearing, and I've changed the inks on in some of them. So I thought I may as well get this done now while I've got some new inks in my pens. By new inks doesn't necessarily mean that they're brand new. They are on rotation to some of the inks that I already have but weren't in my pens. I have a couple of new inks, Robert Oster ones. I'll be showcasing one of those. And yeah, so oh, and by the way, if you are hearing noises and stuff, again, same old on my veranda, birds, wind, traffic, neighbors. Oh, and I want to thank everyone. My subscriptions have gone up by like 10 people in the last couple of weeks, so that's brilliant. Thank you very much for getting me off that 440 mark or 450 mark. And it'd be awesome to reach 500 by the middle of this month. So thank you all for liking, for subscribing. It really is helpful if you do interact with my channel. Even if you don't want to subscribe, you just like or you leave a comment. It just helps with the algorithms. It's all about algorithms on YouTube, and if you don't interact with the channel, then YouTube kind of thinks, nah, no one likes her. So so thank you everyone. I really appreciate it. All right, so what I've done today, I've kind of like divided it up, so blue grays kind of thing, greens, purple pinks, and down here I've got yellow, orange, and terracotta colors. So let's start off with my brand new pen, which I love. I love this pen. This is a Nahvalur Horizon, and it just writes super well. It has a fine nib. It's just like, oh, silky smooth. It writes so well. I can't post it because it's, I mean, you can post it if you want to, but the cap is super heavy, so I don't post this pen. Now, I did have the Ferris wheel pressed bluegrass velvet in here, but I've just swapped it out today, and I've put an ink that I don't use. It was one of my first bottles that I bought from Van Dieman's. So this is the Huon Pine, and I thought I'd really love this green, but it's not one of those greens that I'm partial to. It's more kind of like an apple green, and I don't know, I'm not really sold on it that much. I prefer a bit of a kind of more tealy green, or like a khaki green, or like a smoky grey green. So I bought a bottle of this thinking that I'd love it, and so I don't use it that much. So I thought, hey, you know what, it looks super nice in my Nahvalur Horizon, and this has got a fine nib in here. And so yeah, I thought, okay, I'll do that. I'll use it up in here because, I mean, it does have those greens that kind of match that ink, you know what I mean? So that's my first one. Then I do think I showed this before. I haven't quite finished off the sample yet. For those of you who follow me, you know that I like to kind of use my samples up. So this is Able, and it is a Colorvers ink. I kind of like, yeah, I get my samples, I do a swatch, and then I put them in my pens when I can. And excuse my fingers, as you can see, I was flushing out and changing out inks. This is in my Esterbrook Junior, and this has a medium nib on it. So as you can see, this is kind of more the green that I enjoy. It's more like a grey green, sagey green, rather than this kind of bright apple green. And then I have inked up, and just because I thought that'd be super cool, because I haven't been using it for quite some time, my Butterfly Dreams Yeah. So this is one of my fave inks. It's from Troublemaker, and it is a shimmer ink. So it's got this dark green as a base, and then it's got this purple kind of shimmer, which is gorgeous. And this is in my All-Star, and this is my Bluegreen, and this has got a 1.1 nib on it. So yeah, happy to welcome my Butterfly Dream. It's not dreams, it's actually Butterfly Dream to my rotation. Oh, okay, so I put the greens under the blue greys. Whoopsies. All right, so I'll put the blue greys under the greens then. Alrighty, so with this one, I'm going to start off with my dark color. So again, this one here is one of those ones that I really enjoy. I don't use a lot. This is Bioluminescence. It is a shimmer and a shading ink, and it's got a bit of sparkle warkle in there, but it's a sheener as well. Again, this is a Van Diemen's ink. I do favour Van Diemen's ink for the simple fact that it is an Australian brand and it's located down in Tasmania. So I love to support me, you know, a small family run business which is local. So this is in my All-Star. This is Whitesilver. I'm running out of room. This is a 1.1 nib on it too. So this is kind of like a dark navy blue, and then it's got some brown red sheen, and then it's got a shimmer as well. So it's got it all. And then what else have I got? Oh yeah, I've got this one here. This is, I've got another sample of this. Lapislazuli. This is a Dominant Industry ink, and I really like this one because it writes super well. It's very similar to my Van Diemen's Blue Ringed Octopus, but this one's got a bit of shimmer in here. So it's got red shading and white kind of particulate shimmer in there, and I think it's just a nicer shade of blue for some reason. It's kind of a darker blue, I guess. And so I really kind of enjoy this one more than the Blue Ringed Octopus. So this is in my All-Star, and this is my I call it Firefly, but it's actually, I think, charged green. And this is a 1.1 stub. And then another blue that I really, really love is, oh, I've got that. No, we'll do this one first. I've inked up my Prera, and then we've got Indigo in this one, and this is a Diamine ink, and I like this because it's kind of a blue grey. It's kind of like a Prussian blue, and this is in my Pilot Prera Ivory. This has got my calligraphy medium nib on it, which unfortunately I blunted it a bit because I sort of got the micro mesh out to kind of, you know, smooth it out a little tiny bit, and I think I went over the top, and now it's kind of blunted that edge, so I'm kicking myself about that, unfortunately. I'm going to be so careful with that micro mesh, and I just went overboard with it. And then what I'm really loving is my Schuylkill. So this is a Kyo no Auto ink, and it is a very dry ink. Well, you know, people say that it's dry, but in my Beno Brio or Briolet, it writes super wet because this nib is a medium nib, but it kind of always tends to write wet. It's a bit of a blobby writer sometimes, but I found the perfect ink now because with this sort of more dry ink and this is more of a wet writer, it's just a perfect combo. So I'm loving these together. So cool. All right, at the moment I'm kind of really into dusky pinks, purpley pinks, sort of kind of like terracotta, you know, sort of that not those bright ones, but more like that, oh, how do you say, I don't know, there's a word for it, but yes, I'm kind of into those kind of pinks and purples at the moment. I inked up my Moonman with Azurite because I just thought, oh yeah, Azurite looks super nice because it's got this purple, you know, purple colors in here. I usually have my Butterfly Dream ink in here, and then I had my copper patina, but the particulates in the copper patina were just blocking my feed, so it wasn't writing as well. So then I've also changed the nib out from my broad oblique to a fine, and so this is Azurite. So this is a super bright purple. It's more kind of a blue purple, I guess. So this is Azurite, and it is a Lamy crystal ink. It is one of my favorites, but I hardly have it in because what I do is I keep obviously getting new ink, so I'm always trying new ink, so I don't get to write with it that often. So I thought, oh, you know what, I'll pop it in here, and it looks super cool in here too, you know what I mean? This bright kind of purple, blue purple in there. So Azurite Lamy crystal ink, and it's just beautiful. This is a great shader when you write with it, and also the flow is beautiful, and also it does have kind of a dark green, bronzy kind of sheen to it. So this is in my Moonman S5, and I've got the fine nib on it today. Yes, and I know that Moonman has rebranded to Mahjong, but this pen here in particular will always be my Moonman. It's my first Moonman, and it's branded Moonman on here, and it looks like an astronaut. And so, yeah, and I like naming my pens, and so this is just the name of this pen. All right, so that is my Azurite, and then I have, what did I put in here? Oh yeah, my soft snow of Ohara. Soft snow of Ohara. This is one of my favorite inks. I love this purple. I love the way this ink writes. It's just beautiful, and it works in every single pen. It just writes so well, and I like the way it keeps its crispness when it writes. I forgot to mention I'm writing on 52 GSM, and it's Tomoe River paper, and this is dark red in my little notebook here, and this is in Schuylkill, and this is the Chronis Teal. I've got a fine nib in here, and it's a number 6 nib, this one. I love it. I love this purple. It's just beautiful. Then we go a little bit lighter. This is another one that's become one of my fave inks, and this is Hara. Spelled that wrong. Hara, which is a Shikiori series, and it's the Sailor ink. I love it. I love it so much that I actually bought myself a bottle. And it's kind of, that bottle's on its way to me. Yeah, I just think it's a beautiful shade of purple. It's got that dusky or dustiness to it that I enjoy. This is in my TWSBI Iris, and this is a fine nib. This is the 580 diamond. Love it. So my next one is called Ink Studio. It's another Sailor one. 252 Sailor ink, and this is just a lighter shade of purple. I kind of like, it's one of those iris colors, you know, the flower, the iris, not the one that's bright blue, but there is a version of that's kind of this pinky purple. It kind of like reminds me of that. And this is in my Pilot Matte, and this is a medium nib. Satisfying. Then my new ink that I've just inked up in my Benno Brown Orchid from Robert Oster. This is called Cherry Blossom, and it is a Robert Oster ink, and it's quite a nice kind of pinky, dusky pinky. Is it dusty or dusky? Let me know, because I always get them kind of mixed up. It's not too pink, you know what I mean? Like not too pinky pink. It's actually kind of a nice shade. And this is in my Benu with a medium. Yeah, so I'm kind of liking these more subtle shades as opposed to the brighter shades at the moment. So, you know, like this Lapislazuli, this Azurite, and this sort of green, they're too like, like they look neon colors in comparison to this beautiful indigo, you know, and this Huon. So it's interesting, isn't it? And I mean, here we are going into spring in Australia. I know you guys are all gearing up for fall and all your fall colors and stuff like that. Yeah, we're going into summer, so it's our spring. So I guess these are more spring colors, but not really, hey? I mean, they look more fall colors, don't they? Anyway, these are some of my favorite colors at the moment. I'm definitely going to buy myself a bottle of Hisoko. I love it. I've got myself a bottle of Butterfly Dream. I'm also thinking of getting myself a bottle of Bioluminescence. I've got the Indigo. Yeah, so the Hara, Shikiori, and the Soft Snow of Ohara. I've bought myself bottles. They're on their way. That said, let's get on to our yellows, oranges, and terracottas. So another one of my favorites is this one here, which is, it's got this really hard name to pronounce, but Project Ink number 23. And it's a Colorvers ink. And I just love it. It's a very terracotta kind of red, I guess. Red pink. And this is in my Lamy Vista. And this has got a fine nib. Yeah, totally love that. Now another one I'm super loving at the moment is another one that I got couple of ink hauls ago, and I think I've shown you this one. So this is the Ink Studio, and this is the 573 Sailor ink. It reminds me a little bit of Ridunk, the Huon ink. I think this has just got a little bit more orange in it when it dries, whereas the Ridunk dries a little bit more pinky, like pale pinky. This is in my Sailor Pro Gear Slim, and I've got a medium nib. Yeah, I really love it. It's kind of like an apricot color, sort of. I don't know how to describe it. Last but not least, I do have a sort of a yellow gold mustardy color, and this is, ooh, what's it called? So this one is called Yamabukiro, and it is Teal no auto ink, and again it just writes super nice, and then so it's very legible, but when it dries it's got these beautiful pops of yellow come through, so it shades really nicely too, and I just really like the color of it. It's like an ochre, I guess. This is in Pilot Matte, and I've got a medium on here. Trying to keep my pens down. I'm tempted to keep inking more and more out. So at the moment I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I'm trying to keep my pens inked at around the 15 or less mark. It's really hard. And I've got a few things coming next week. I've got a few new nibs for my Lamys. Again, I play around and I use some micro mesh, and I blunted some of my tips, and so I've got myself some new nibs. I've also got myself some converters because I found that, you know, I do reuse the cartridges, but after a while they split and they get a bit broken, so I thought I'll just get myself a couple of more converters. It's kind of safer. So I've got those coming, got those bottled inks that I bought, that's coming, and I've got a couple of samples. Oh, I finally got myself a sample of Celadon Cat, which I've been wanting to try for the longest time. So I'm just going to give this a moment to dry, and then I'll bring it up to the camera.
Oakley dokley. So I've given it a couple of minutes to dry, and as we can see, that Huon pine is very greeny green. The Abel sort of does dry to a sort of a sagey green, I guess, and then the Butterfly Dreams has that dark green, and you can see that purple shimmer in there. Bioluminescence, it's kind of got, you know, that blue, goes down sort of a dark navy, and then it kind of does dry to a lighter blue, and then it has that red sheen throughout it, and a little bit of sparkle warkle, which we can't really see here. And you've got Lapislazuli, which is the dominant instri. As you can see, it's got a very red sheen to it, and we can't see the sparkles. Indigo dries to like a Prussian blue, like a grey blue. Hisoku, you can see the Hisoku's got a lot of shading in that, which I really love when you write. Then you've got the Azurite. Can we see there's a little bit of shading in there, and the sheening. Might be a little bit of sheen there with the darker, but we can't see that. Then the soft snow of Ohara, which is this beautiful soft purple. Hara Shikiori, Sailor Ink, Ink Studio, and then the Cherry Blossom kind of dries to I mean, it's got some shading in there, and it kind of has that sort of lighter pink and darker pinks in there. And then the Project Ink Colorvers is kind of like a terracotta red. This, I would define it as a terracotta pink, actually. And then, as you can see, the Yamabukiro, I should say, has got, you know, sort of a darker yellow to lighter yellows in there. So it's kind of very similar to this. This is just a little bit more pinky, and that's a little bit more, don't know how to describe it. It's just a little bit more orangey, I guess. Yeah, so that's the Cherry Blossom. It sort of goes down a little bit darker, and then it kind of like writes that lighter. You know, when you've put it in the pen, that's the Kyo no Oto on my swatch. So that's the Ink Studio 525, and then the Shikiori Hara. That's the Van Dieman's Bioluminescence, and you can see it's got all kind of things happening in there. You can see the sheen, the shimmer. The Huon Pine, yeah, I wanted to show you how it looks on the swatch. It's kind of got like this red sheen to it when it goes down, but when you put it in a pen, it writes this kind of lighter green. This here is a size 6 nib. So well, there you go, there you have it, my friends. Thank you so much for watching and for hanging out with me and liking, subscribing and supporting my channel, and thank you for helping me grow. And until my next one, be good. Tavali.